welcome to day 8 of the program. Our scale for the day is C sharp major. C sharp major has 7 sharps, F, C, G, D, A, E, B. And those scale intervals is C sharp is our tonic, D sharp is our major second, E sharp is our major third, F sharp is our perfect fourth, G sharp is our perfect fifth, A sharp is our major sixth, B sharp is our major seventh, and C sharp is our perfect eighth. The scale degrees of C sharp major is C sharp is tonic, supertonic is D sharp, mediant is E sharp, subdominant is F sharp, dominant is G sharp, submediant is A sharp, leading tone is B sharp, and our octave is C sharp. The triad chords are, our one chord is C sharp, E sharp, G sharp, which is our C sharp major. Our second chord is D sharp, F sharp, A sharp, which is D sharp minor. Our third chord is E sharp, G sharp, B sharp, which is E sharp minor. Our fourth chord is F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, which is our F sharp major. Our fifth chord is G sharp major, which is G sharp, B sharp, D sharp. Our sixth chord is A sharp minor, A sharp, C sharp, E sharp. Our seventh chord is B sharp diminished, which is B sharp, D sharp, and F sharp. So I hope you have a chance to try one octave at least of the scale, if not two, and to try the triads as well. What we're going to talk about today is we're going to continue with types of learners, and today we're going to talk about visual learners. So as the name suggests, visual learners are those who learn best when they have images to help them process the information. This learning style requires the learners to first see what they're expected to know. They may also need to map out their thoughts in order to process them better. So here are the most common characteristics of visual learner. So they have good spatial awareness and sense of direction, can easily visualize objects, plans, and outcomes like coloring, drawing, and doodling. They have good color balance, are good as using maps, and rarely get lost. So for example, a visual learner in a writing class may process the information better by seeing a movie clip of how a film adapts the literature it's based on instead of listening to the book being read out loud. So you're a visual learner if you prefer images, pictures, and mind maps to help you process information. And this is how, as a musician, we can use practice visual learning skills, and this is what that looks like. So ways that you can practice as a musician being a visual learner is to make copies. So you can make a copy of a specific section and highlight those notes, dynamics, whatever it is difficult to practice for you. When it comes to memorizing, what you can do is you can make a copy of that page. Let's say if I'm trying to memorize this whole page, what I would do is I would make a copy of this, and then I would cut up each bar, and then I would try to put every bar in order just from practicing memorization. So that's a fun way to practice memorization. Another way to practice visual learning is notation. So I did mention highlighting things. So I have an orange marker here because it's very in your face. So if dynamics is one thing that I'm always missing because there's so much on the sheet, I'm going to highlight all dynamics, especially with a color this bright, because that way I'm going to notice, and then I can already see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 different dynamics in this page, and that way it seems more doable because I know there's 8. So notating your music, if it's writing in notes, if it's highlighting words, if it's highlighting the crescendos, whatever you're having trouble with, I would say make a copy and highlight. Another way is notation, so writing. If a spot is giving you a hard time, another way to practice that is to write the fingering down. If it's notes, if it's fingerings, whatever works for you. So I'm going to write 1, 3, 1, open 1, 2, 2, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. So I would just write down those finger numbers, and then maybe that could help you. Just focusing on the finger numbers and knowing which string you're going to be on can help you. So those are ways that you can practice as a visual learner. What we're going to talk about next is mental practicing. So mental practicing is another way to practice without playing your instrument. So there are a lot of ways to practice without your instrument, and all are just as effective. Taking what we talked about the other day, air fingering is a great way to practice. If you're on the car ride to your lesson, concert, competition, air fingering and looking over the music, singing the melody in your head is a great warm-up. I often did that growing up on my way to lessons. I would always just look at the music, follow along, and air finger it down my hand. I would just go up, and then when I would have to shift, I would still have that kind of a feel of a violin. I also did that to competition. I would always go over my music, the spots that I knew I had troubles with. So this was a very effective way, at least for me. You can even practice bowings in the car. So using a pen or pencil, you can hold the bow and you can go like bum 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 bum. You can do hook bowing. Sometimes you just need to practice those bowing patterns. And sometimes if you're able to do it, you can do both. So I would suggest trying mental practice next time you're on the car ride to a lesson where you're air fingering the fingerings and also the bowing, because sometimes I would always do that. I would always just go up like that and write bowings down on certain pieces. So another way is to also sing the phrases. If you can sing the phrase, you can play the phrase. If you can clap the rhythm, you can play the rhythm. So these are a couple ways to try mental practicing, which again, there are ways to practice without your instrument, and this is a couple ways that you can do that. Next we're going to talk about is our composer of the day, Brahms. Johannes Brahms was born in 1833 in Hamburg, Germany. Brahms was a German composer and pianist of the Romantic period who wrote symphonies, concerti, chamber music, piano works, choral compositions, and more than 200 songs. Brahms was the great master of symphonic and sonata style in the second half of the 19th century. Brahms' father was a horn and double bass musician who had no money. Brahms showed early promise as a pianist, so he first studied music with his father, and at the age of 7, he was sent for piano lessons, who 3 years later passed Brahms down to his own teacher, Edward Markson. And between the ages of 14 and 16, Brahms earned money to help his family by playing in rough inns in the dock area of Hamburg, and meanwhile composing and sometimes giving recitals. When he was 17, Brahms met Edward Rimini, a Jewish-Hungarian violinist, concerts, and from whom he learned something of Roma, which is gypsy music, an influence that remained with Brahms always. At the first turning point came in 1853 when Brahms was 20. He met the violin virtuoso Joseph Joachim, who instantly realized the talents of Brahms. Joachim, in turn, recommended Brahms to the famous composer Robert Schumann, and an immediate friendship between the two composers started. Schumann wrote enthusiastically about Brahms in the period musical article, praising Brahms' composition. So this article created a sensation. From this moment, Brahms was a force in the world of music. There was always factors that made it difficult, though. Between 1857 and 1860, when he was 24, Brahms moved between the court of Detmold in Germany, where he taught piano and conducted a choral society. And over 2 years later, he was appointed conductor of a women's choir in Hamburg. Such post-job opportunities provided valuable practice experience and left him enough time for his own work. At this point, Brahms' productivity increased. His life there was, on the whole, was regular and quiet, disturbed only by the ups and downs of his musical success, by situations occasioned by his own quick temper, and by the often harmful rivalry between his supporter and those of Wagner and Anton Bruckner, who were famous composers at the time then. His music, despite a few failures and constant attacks by the Wagnerites, was established, and his reputation grew steadily. By 39, he was principal conductor of the Society of Friends of Music, and for 3 seasons, he directed the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra. His choice of music was not as conservative as might have been expected, and though the Brahmins is what they call them, continued their war against Wagner, Brahms himself always spoke of his rival with respect. Brahms' piece's Hungarian Dances is based on the Roma tunes which he had collected over the years. Brahms remained in Vienna for the rest of his life. He resigned as director of the Society of Friends of Music when he was 42. And then on, he devoted his life almost solely to composition. When he went on concert tours, he conducted or performed on the piano only his own works. He maintained a few close personal friendships and remained a lifetime bachelor who never married or had a family. He spent his summers traveling in Italy, Switzerland, and Austria. He appeared for the last time at a concert in March 1897 when he was 64, and in Vienna in April 1897 that year he died of cancer. So that's a little bit about Brahms. I will post a link with some music of his so you can again get a sense of the composer if you haven't already heard his works. So today's practice goal is to practice visual learning skills and mental practicing, at least one of each. So I hope you have fun, and we'll see you tomorrow.